I've been crying on and off for a little bit now, and I want to be a mom so bad. Like, I want to be pregnant so bad and grow a human, and I just want to take care of. I just want to be a mom so bad. And I just wish I could be one right now.
I'm 31 and I've chosen to remain single at the moment, and my dad questioned me the other day. He said, "Don't you think that the older that you're getting a little too picky?" I paused. That was a valid question, and so I answered thoughtfully. I have standards, and they're not high standards. I wouldn't even call them that. They're just my standards. I don't think I'm asking for something from a man that I can't give myself. I've spent years in therapy trying to become a better person, journaling, reading books, listening to podcasts, and I expect the same of my partner, someone that is emotionally intelligent and self-aware enough to do work on themselves. I'm not asking for something I'm not giving. I have taken so many years to get an education, to build a career for myself, and I am at a disadvantage in comparison to a man. I am more of a minority than a man is. So if you start off with the upper hand, to me, there should be no excuse as to why you can at least meet me where I am financially. I don't think I'm asking for something I'm not willing to give. There are so many things I can go on and on about. I don't think I'm picky. I think at the age of 31, I have gone through my trials and tribulations enough to know myself, to be confident in who I am, what I bring into someone else's life. And I just want them to be able to meet me where I am, if not better, because that way they inspire me to be better. And I don't expect a flawless person because I am not a flawless person. And that makes me happy. It's not like a defect of mine.
This is the woman waiting for the winner at the finish line, the one looking for the beta provider, the man who can give her the ring and financial security. Just hearing her say, "I want a man who matches my financial situation," makes it clear she's not looking for love, respect, or a good father for her children. She's looking for a wallet. She doesn't say, "I want someone to take care of me." She says, "I want someone who earns as much as I do, or more." And now, at 31 years old, we know she's at the wall. Time doesn't stop, but instead of building with a man, she keeps waiting for the one who already has it all. But that man isn't looking for a woman with demands and conditions. He's looking for someone younger, someone more willing to grow with him, not to judge him. That's why many keep waiting. And the wall doesn't forgive.
So I am officially 39 and single with no kids. This lighting, where I am is making me look so dark. I'm not actually this dark, but I feel really good in the sense of like, I have just decided to surrender. I went on a run yesterday and I was just thinking about God, and I was like, God knows the desires of my heart. And I feel like for the last few years, I've been really intentional about going on dates and meeting new people and feeling like if I'm not doing these things, then XYZ is not come. And I do think that there is like some truth to that. Like, you do need to put yourself out there and you do need to be willing, but it started to come from a place of like performance, in the sense of like, I have to be doing these things or I will not get what I want. And it started to just feel inauthentic to me. And I'm still going to put myself out there, but I just don't want to stress about any of this anymore. I just don't. It's not worth my time. And there's been things in life, whether it's a relationship or money issues or just living situations. And I think we've all been through those situations where we think, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm so stressed, and you're losing sleep about it. And then a few years down the road, you're like, why was I ever stressed about that? Everything works out in its time. And I just have to live from that perspective of God knows the desires of my heart. At the end of the day, I'm a good person. I'm bettering myself. I'm going back to school and I'm doing these things to try to improve my life. And what happens is going to happen, but I can't live my life feeling stressed that I'm not going to hit these particular landmarks. And it feels like a good place to be for me right now.
Ma'am, I'm not saying you won't find a partner, because for a woman, it's always easier to get a man than it is for a man to get a woman. But you should have been active since 25, because at 39, you've already entered panic mode. The chances of starting a family are minimal, almost non-existent. Biological time doesn't wait. and now you're living off faith and hope that God knows the desires of your heart, as if that alone could make up for what you didn't do before. A woman at this age is less flexible when it comes to building a family. She's not going to give up her job or her comfort to follow a man's path. Women who wait until 39 to start looking do it with the mindset, either I find a man with money who fits into my life or nothing. They're no longer looking for love, they're looking for convenience. And since they won't support an average man, they only open up if he can take care of everything. That's why, the more time goes by, the harder it gets for them. Because the wall doesn't forgive.
Women.
Watch how crazy perspective is. So, I'm 30 years old. I'm single. I live at home. I just spent the last year running around trying to figure out stuff, and I'm back at home. My job is hard. All my friends are getting married and engaged, and I'm not. Life just every day feels the same somehow, sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Or I am 30 years old, you guys, and I live at home because I just spent the last year traveling around and doing whatever I wanted, meeting so many people, having so much flexibility, and now I get to live at home and try and save to buy my own place and spend this quality time with my family that I'll never have again. And I haven't met my person yet, which is so cool because I still get to fall in love for the first time with someone new, and I will just love this person and they'll be so great for me because I've just chose not to settle, and that's so exciting. And my job is hard, but it's rewarding, and I'm so lucky to have a remote job that's flexible and work with amazing people, and I believe in what we're doing. And I just go to beautiful walks every day because I have a healthy body, and I have an amazing community where I live that I'm working really hard to build, and that's pretty cool, don't you think? Love you guys, bye.
Stop it. Get some help.
And here we have the woman who spent all her youth traveling, partying, meeting people, and doing whatever she wanted. And now, with 30 years behind her, back home, she says she's ready to settle down, that she wants to find someone special and start a new chapter. Of course, now that the best chapter has already passed, now she wants to talk about true love and commitment. But we already know how this goes. Once the best years are gone, once her market value starts to drop, that's when she wants true love. That's when she's suddenly ready to build. But the guy she ignored at 22 isn't going to be waiting around at 32. Because while she was out traveling and experimenting, he was working, growing, and now he has options. And those options don't usually look back. So, there's no beta provider waiting for you.
I don't know why, but it's always so hard for people to believe me when I tell them that I'm actually single. Like, no boyfriend, I'm not dating, I don't have a roster, ain't nobody. Like, it's just me. And I know usually when people say that, like, oh, I'm single, it's always somebody in the background, in the dust, a sneaky link or something. I am single, truly single. I'm not dating anybody, ain't nobody. I ain't spend the block. I like, I am the true definition of a single person. I am single, 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 single. Cause my coworker, I told her, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be here Friday. Most likely. She was like, oh, okay. Valentine's Day. Okay. What you doing? I was like, girl, I'm going to the parade. Ain't nobody thinking about, what? You think I'm taking off work? Cause I got a Valentine?
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
In short, she's more alone than the sun at noon on a cloudless day. And I'm not surprised. Modern feminism ruined the game for everyone. Today, men are less interested in finding a partner than ever before. They've stepped away from the dating market for self-protection, out of fear of losing more than they gain. And when a woman like this says, I'm single 6 times, it's not because she's overflowing with peace. It's because she's lacking real companionship. Many of these women have unrealistic standards that most men can't, or won't, meet. Relationships have become transactional. Marriage is no longer seen as a viable option, and even living together is risky. If one wrong move can cost you 50% of everything you've built, who's going to take that risk? That's why the statistics saying 45% of women under 35 will be single by 2030 is no longer just a theory. It's the trend. The numbers keep growing, and brothers, the wall doesn't forgive.
I think I'm destined to be single forever. I have basically given up at this point and just made like a simple, comfortable life for myself where I hang out with my dog. So let me explain a little bit more so you understand. I have a lot of serious health issues and I get sick very often and have to be hospitalized very often. And going back through all my relationships, the thing that broke us and the reason that people didn't stay with me or it didn't work out was because of my health and because they didn't want that burden. And in today's society, everybody is really ableist, and we look down and put less value on people that aren't contributing as much to the world. And trust me, that takes a huge toll on me emotionally to feel like I'm not giving enough back to society. But I don't want to feel abandoned again. I don't want to feel like my disease defines me. I don't want to feel like I'm opening myself up and I'm caring about somebody and then they're rejecting me for something that's outside of my control. So I just stopped trying. And I don't know if I should just give up or if there's someone out there that could be a ride or die and hang in there with me. It's just so hard to meet people, you know?
This woman already has many medical issues. We won't say anything about her, other than that I hope she manages to recover.
So I'm 31. Actually, I'm 30. I'm going to be 31 in 2 weeks, but almost there anyways. And I'm still single and never been married, no kids. And I do want all of those things, but I feel like it's not talked about enough. Kind of like the weird period when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and pretty much everyone you know is married with kids and they're pretty much like settled in life, or so it seems, and you just feel like you are completely at a different stage. And it's like you want those things, but I also don't want to settle, and I don't want to just find the first person that's like willing to get married and have kids just to say that I did that. I'm wanting to wait and, wait for the person that can give me what I need and what I deserve, because I know that I bring a lot to the table and I'm expecting that from someone else as well. But no one talks about this like weird in between time where you're content with your life and you're happy and you find joy in yourself and in your life and you feel fulfilled. But at the same time, it's like you're longing for that partnership and that family and for that life. And it's just such a weird thing. And it's such a weird time in my life where like some days I'm super happy and content and like I'm fine if I'm single for the rest of my life and I'm fine if I don't have kids. But then other times I think about it and it's like, I'm going to be 31 in 2 weeks and the biological clock is a real thing. And just not knowing if like that's in the cards for me is kind of a weird place to be at. And I know that it's all in God's hands. It's all in God's timing. And there's just things that we cannot control in life. But I feel like it's just not talked about enough for, the people that are kind of in my situation. So yeah, if anyone else is feeling like this, let me know.
She doesn't want to settle because she deserves more, because she brings a lot to the table, because she wants someone to give her what she needs. Brothers, what does she think she deserves? That mindset is the perfect recipe to end up lonelier than the sun at noon. She's about to turn 31, right at the wall, and she still thinks she's going to find a high-value, successful man who's willing to give it all, without having been the woman who was there during the process. That's not how it works. Most women who are married and stable by 30 made a bet on a man with potential in their 20s. They were there from the beginning and grew with him. But nowadays, many women don't want that path or to be the woman who goes through the process. They want to show up at the end of the game and keep the winner without having gone through anything with him. And the reality is that those high-value men aren't looking for a 30-year-old with a ticking biological clock. They're looking for the 22-year-old, young, fertile, and ready to build. That's why we say it clearly. The wall doesn't forgive.
I was starting to feel like nobody was for me, like the dating pool just sucked. Because every time I turned around, men was trying to fuck. Excuse my language, but I didn't understand why they treated me like I was basic, or like I was a woman to be played with. I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a great woman. I was thinking there was no great men out here, so face it. I started to take a look at myself, wondering what was I doing wrong? What could I change? What could I fix? Has it been me all along? Maybe I could dress a little classier or cover myself up. But then that still didn't work, so then I was really like, what the fuck? But then I saw how many women only wanted men for their money. How could you really love me if you constantly take from me? And I wonder why men think they can offer us money in exchange for our bodies. Oh, it made me feel bad. I couldn't believe what the world had came to. Now it seems impossible to find somebody who really loves you. Men no longer recognize as a good woman if it was standing in their face. And women no longer wanted men who just wanted to take them on a date. Now everybody loving with caution, protecting themselves just in case. But then I saw the beauty in myself and not being one of those people and gave myself some grace. I know it seems scary because you don't want to be alone forever. But just take your time putting yourself back together. And remember, you are not the reason why those people didn't love you. You was just looking in the wrong view, but God would send you a love that's true. In the meantime, just keep loving on you.
Stop it. Get some help.
Nice speech. But here we go again. She complains that men only want intimacy, that no one values her, yet she never stops to question the kind of men she chooses. She goes after the 666 of the apocalypse. The guy who's 6 feet tall, has a six-pack, and makes 6 figures. The 666 from hell. They're always waiting for that man. And when he plays games with her, suddenly there are no good men out there. She says she's smart, beautiful, and a great woman, but she feels confused because that's not enough. Listen, lady, the market doesn't move based on what you think you deserve, but on what you actually bring to the table in a real relationship. That's why this is nothing more than a nice-sounding speech, because in real life, she thinks just like the woman in the next video.
Women.
I'm sorry, but I do not want no man in my life who talk too much. Baby, if you talk too much, I don't want you. See, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I think I just got rubbed the wrong way. Like, he was talking so much that it kind of got up under my skin a little bit because he sounded like a woman. I don't need no man who talks like a woman, who always ranting and raving about their bad experiences and the stuff they gone through in their life and all. Baby, this is not no trauma bond. I don't care what you have dealt with in the past. I don't care who you have dealt with in the past. They're not me. And if I'm always in positions where I feel like you're trying to place me in categories, I'm going to mentally check out, and I'm going to check out physically, because I'm not trying to keep up a facade that you have painted in your head about your past experiences. You're going to have to find somebody else to do it. It ain't going to be me. I want a man who I can enjoy life with. I want to laugh. Like, one thing I have understood is that we don't have enough laughter in our life because we have so many problems that go on, and we're always focusing on the things that we got to focus on in order for us to survive. I want a partner I can laugh with. I can giggle with. I can enjoy, like, being around them. Like, I don't got time for people who serious all the time, who always got something going on, who always talk about their past experiences and the stuff that they done came across while they have been. I don't give a damn about none of that. I don't want to talk about your past experiences because, baby, this not no trauma bond. I'm healed. Like, I don't want to talk about your past relationships and the women you done came across, because one thing about it and two things for sure, when you don't realize who's in front of you, you miss out on opportunities. So sometimes people miss out on opportunities because they talk too much.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
See how she thinks. A lot of women keep saying they want a man who connects with his emotional side, but the moment he does, they lose respect for him. Look how this one compares him to a woman just because he talks about his experiences and feelings. That's why we tell you, Brothers, if you're dealing with emotional issues, go to therapy, talk to a friend, or even a stranger, but don't cry in front of your woman. Because the respect disappears, and with it, the interest. And the other thing to notice is how she says, I just want to have fun. That's the mindset of the modern woman. She doesn't think about supporting a man, only about what he can do for her. How he makes her feel, what he gives her, what he offers. What he feels or goes through doesn't matter to her. And when she's no longer entertained, she leaves. That's why so many are single, because they only think about themselves, not about building something with someone.
As a woman who's been single for 5 years, I just wanted to make a little video about loneliness. I accept that my perception of loneliness might be different to other people's, and that's because I experienced losing my mum as a child. And trust me, the aloneness I felt as a result of losing my mum is something that can never be rivaled, and loneliness just pales in comparison. What I will say though is that loneliness is not exclusive to people who are single. People who are in relationships get lonely too. And loneliness is not a reason to enter into a relationship that makes you unhappy in so many other ways. Loneliness is also not a reason to message that guy. You know the one I'm talking about. Leave him in the archives. Leave him blocked. He's blocked for a reason. What I want us all to remember about loneliness is that it's a feeling and it will pass. Life isn't always going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to sit with difficult emotions, and sometimes we're going to feel a little bit shit. But you know what? You are going to feel okay again, and it is going to get better. Loneliness is something that so many people experience. Ironically, you're not alone.
Then she talks about emotional men, but she comes in with a ton of unresolved trauma. If a man were to respond the same way as the previous girl did, they'd call him a misogynist. But the truth is, she's already at the wall. She might as well buy a cat. Maybe that way she'll feel a little less alone.
Women.
I'm coming up on my 3-year sober anniversary, and one thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is that I was so lonely when I was drinking, and now I never get lonely. And my friends, always have to be with people or, on dates, filling some kind of void. I got sober, and I had no friends because my friends were drinking friends. And I had no hobbies because my life was filled with drinking. That's literally all I did. And when I got sober, I defined hobbies and things I love to do alone because I didn't have sober friends or anyone to do this with. So now my life is filled with healthy, happy hobbies that contribute to my life and that I can do completely alone. So when I don't have someone to hang out with, I'm completely fulfilled with myself and those things I love to do.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
People don't understand how the feminization of men has made the world a more miserable place, especially for young people between the ages of 20 and 35. Since the rise of radical feminism, we've seen the collapse of the family, abusive marriage laws against men, and social pressure that pushes many into despair. But it's not just men who pay the price. Today, statistics show that women are also falling into self-destructive spirals. In 2023, over 12 million women in the U.S. reported alcohol use disorders. Women turning 35 today are 60% more likely to binge drink than those who did in the 90s. Female alcoholism has grown so much that alcohol-related deaths among women are rising at a rate of 7.1% per year, nearly double the male rate. But feminists won't talk about this, because admitting it means acknowledging that misguided independence, loneliness, the breakdown of the home, and lack of structure have left many women alone, empty, and seeking comfort in a bottle. And yes, brothers, the wall is hitting harder than ever.
Surprise him with it today, then I make a joke oh, so what are you doing for me for Valentine's Day? And he goes, your gift is spending time with me on the trip you booked. And then he called me materialistic because I got upset because I asked him so much. It ain't broke yet, but damn, it needs fixing. Do anything, you don't have to buy me anything.
Felt like kissing. It's just different.
I've got my side of the story and he's got his side too.
So I ain't gonna tell her what he did, but I'll tell her what he didn't do. Treat me right, put me first, be a man of his word, stay home cause he wanted to. Always fight for my love, hold on tight like it's something that he couldn't stand to lose. The devil's in the details, I won't tell the hell that he put me through. All I know is in the end, it wasn't what he did, no, it was what he didn't do.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Remember, my friends, on the wedding day, only the man marries for love. The woman marries for a lifestyle. Why do you think marriages don't last these days? Because constant comparisons are killing them. Men are being held to increasingly unrealistic standards, based on couples on Instagram showcasing edited, perfect, and fake lives. She no longer wants to stay in on a Saturday night watching a movie and eating pizza. No, she wants the trip, the gestures, the fancy restaurant, and expects you to pay for it all, without ever slipping up. The man has to be a provider, a therapist, a motivator, a protector, romantic, attentive, patient, all at once. And do you know what the worst part is? That if one day you're tired, if one day you can't give any more, she'll say, "It's not what you did, it's what you didn't do." And that, according to her, justifies ending the relationship. But she'll never admit that what really killed the relationship was the constant pressure to live up to an impossible script. She'll blame you for her decisions. If you don't believe me, just watch the next video.
So today is the day that I got divorced, and someone commented why I got divorced. And like, when do you know you need to file and it's over, right? This was probably like over a year of hurt and going back and forth. He was canceling therapy sessions, getting more into sexual addiction, and seeking things online. But I'm not trying to bash him. Everyone has their own things that they battle with, and that was just his. And I couldn't take it anymore, being second best every time. And I did want to say that for the people who like second guess themselves all the time, their intuition, and they're told they're crazy, it's just their insecurities. It's not your insecurities. There's a reason you're having that feeling, and my feeling was right. So today I signed the papers. The court approved it. It's signed, and the terms are under adultery. So that says it right there, you know. But I really don't wish him any hate. I loved his family, and that was really hard to hear things that weren't true being said about me. But I do just want to say, like, I have no hate towards him, towards anyone he's possibly in a relationship we're talking to. It's hard, and I'm not going to act like it's fine. That everything happens for a reason. And sometimes people are in your life as lessons, and sometimes they're in your life as a lifetime. And that wasn't it. So.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Brothers, every story has two sides. She accuses him of being addicted to adult content. But in the first video, we saw that he had also called her materialistic. That's how it goes. One accuses, the other responds. But what is absolutely clear, what no one can deny, is that 80% of divorces are initiated by women. What happened to the vows? In sickness and in health? For better or worse? It seems those no longer apply when something doesn't go their way. Especially in cases like this one, a young woman who would rather become a single mother than fight to save her marriage. She gives up, files the papers, and walks away, claiming it was her intuition that guided her. But the truth is, many times that so-called intuition is just discomfort with the emotional responsibility that comes with maintaining a real relationship. Marriage, for many today, has become disposable, and that's why it almost always ends in the same place: divorce.
That what men really feel most of the time when it comes to divorce is resentment, not surprise, not loss, not grief, but resentment at losing their very own personal absorber of all their negative externalities, their personal patriarchal absorber of responsibilities, absorber of costs. One need look no further than how most men behave in custody battles, and that is this: most men, we know statistically, they do not show up. They do not contest the mother's custody order. They actually do nothing. And then, subsequent to having no custody assigned to them, they either come around and look. You guys cannot be out here telling yourselves that men are so resentful because, they're giving up their unpaid labor. They're paying for it every single day when they go to work. They're paying for it every time you have a mental outburst about some bullshit from 10 years ago. He's paying for it every single time he misses a birthday or a holiday, or he can't be at a sporting event because mom moved so far fucking away. He is literally paying for the consequences of the woman's actions every single fucking day, and y'all never want to take accountability for your part in it. He's paying for it every single time he has to come home to an empty house with toys all over the place. He's paying for it every single time that child support hits and he has to pay for 2 households. And if anything, if men are resentful, they have every single right to be, because there's no way that he has to live like this for the rest of his life because of the consequences of your actions to not making the relationship work. And before you come at me with any kind of abuse bullshit, I'm not talking about abusive situations. They're paying for it every single time you're bitter and have to take him to court or want to take him to court for custody. Y'all never ask yourselves why these men have to fight for custody in the first place. And let's be so for real. The only people in these kind of equations that are resentful are the mothers that become single mothers and now have to do it all by themselves, even though they get government assistance, they get help from child support, they get all of these government programs to help them while the dads suffer in fucking silence. And y'all never want to talk about that. You're so self-centered that you only think about yourself in this equation, even though you created this entire situation by initiating divorce in the first place. But then you spew out this bullshit that men are resentful because they're basically losing their unpaid labor. No, what they're losing is a literal adult child, because it's been statistically proven that men put out 80% more income than women, which is why women fight so hard against 50-50 in the first place, because women can't even contribute 50% of the household income. And then guess what? That man will spend 20 fucking years building up his retirement, and y'all will come in after 10 years and take whatever the fuck you can get because you're bitter. That's what they're upset about. I don't give a fuck if you want to stay, if you want to go, but imagine building your entire empire for some bitter ass bitch to come steal it all. All because she opened her legs and had children with him, essentially. I'm just so sick of this narrative where women will literally tell themselves anything to avoid accountability for situations that they create. How about going to therapy? How about not picking horrible partners in the first place? How about trying to make your relationship work other than trying to dissolve the marriage in the first place and then having to take him to court in the first place? Okay, bye.
A beer for this woman. Absolutely agree. She said out loud what many men feel, but few can express. Divorce doesn't just break a family. It breaks the man who gave everything and still ends up empty-handed. It's not sadness, it's resentment. Because after providing, protecting, and carrying the weight of it all, he's left paying alimony, losing precious time with his children, and supporting 2 households, while society applauds the woman for starting over. And the worst part is that many don't even take responsibility. They initiate the divorce, destroy the stability of their children, and still paint themselves as victims. They say men don't fight for custody, but never mention how the system is already stacked against them. In the end, the man doesn't just lose his partner. He loses his home, his routine, his finances, and often his peace of mind. And on top of that, he has to endure being called selfish. If men feel resentment, It's justified. Because the price they pay for loving and building a family keeps getting higher, with no guarantee of return.
Women.
Today is day one back at work since my 5-year marriage has come to an end. And I don't know how to feel. I do want to be distracted, be back at work, but because that's where we met, I think there's going to be a lot of wave of emotions today and everyone asking where I've been and what's happening. So yeah, I just find a bit of comfort like vlogging and speaking to someone and letting it out. If I need to cry, I'll cry. If I just need to let the emotions out, and I know that I need to deal with it head on, and that's part of the healing process and about starting from zero again. And it's hard to, start from zero again after 5 years, but there's people that have been through a lot worse, so I cannot complain. Alhamdulillah. I know that my person is still out there somewhere, and I need to heal in order to be ready to meet them. Because I know I deserve it. And if it's not in this life, it will be in the afterlife. So I'm happy regardless. I'm waiting for the ease, inshallah. Tawakkaltu ala Allah. Bye, guys.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Brother, she truly believes she's going to start a new life, that some other fool will show up willing to sign that contract with the devil called marriage. 5 years married, working at the same place, and now she paints the divorce as some kind of spiritual journey, as if leaving a marriage were a form of personal renewal. For them, breaking up a home is simply the next step, like it's an emotional game with levels to beat. But for a man, it's not like that. For a man, it means leaving everything behind: stability, assets, time, even mental health. It's no coincidence that one of the top 3 reasons a man files for bankruptcy is divorce. If you go through one long divorce, or worse, 2, you could literally end up on the street. Because while they go off to heal, we're the ones left paying the price. That's how unfair the system is.
I am getting a divorce. I just wanted to rip off the band-aid to tell you guys. There are 2 people involved with this, so I'm going to keep the details private, but I will be talking about my experience navigating this. And yes, I have a small account, but I know people are interested in my life and my husband's life. He didn't sign up for this, so I just ask that you guys respect his privacy. Because not only does it hurt him when you guys leave comments on old videos and stuff, it also hurts me. Obviously, this is a person that I still love and loved a lot. I think I kept out of leaving mean comments towards someone. So, together 5 years. Those are memories I'm thankful for. It's really painful losing that and losing the person that felt like home. I know this is for the best. I think we both know this is for the best, but it doesn't make it suck any less. But let me tell you, I will be taking you along for the ride. Starting over. It's all of the divorce stuff. My biggest goal is feeling secure. So obviously, I have 2 dogs. I need to find an apartment. Thank you guys for giving me patience while I've kind of dealt with this behind the scenes. And cheers to starting over.
You see what I'm saying? There's a clear statistic. A first marriage has a 60% chance of success, a second one 40%, and a third barely 25%. That tells us 2 things: that starting a new relationship doesn't guarantee anything, and that the more you try, the less likely it is to work. But the most revealing part is that the one who usually files for divorce, in most cases, the woman, almost never ends up truly happy. That's why you see women like this, talking about starting over, with their 2 dogs, looking for an apartment, and already over 30. She's hit the wall. She left a man who probably loved her, thinking there was something better out there. But now, while he continues his life or rebuilds it, she's left alone, trying to make sense of a path she chose for herself. As we always say, the wall doesn't forgive.
In the matter of the marriage of Kathy Ann Pauls and John Albert Pauls, case number 2024 DM 349, the petitioner, Kathy, appears apparently representing herself at this point, her previous attorney having withdrawn from this case. Riley Broyles appears as counsel for John in this case, who apparently is appearing in the office of his attorney by Zoom. This matter comes before the court at this time for a pretrial conference. The court does have respondents' pretrial questionnaire. Appreciate that, counsel. your client's position is clear to the court. Kathy, I don't have a pretrial questionnaire from you.
I didn't know I needed to give one.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to look at the respondent's pretrial questionnaire?
Briefly. I do have issues, though.
Okay. Have you communicated your issues to Ms. Broyles?
We tried when I had an attorney before, but the numbers on like Morgan Stanley and everything else, it keeps changing. So I wanted you here as a witness to everything. I wanted to ask questions of like it's ridiculous. The difference.
What's ridiculous?
He has listed like the Celica and the Cadillac as assets, and those were gifts. And the original amounts that were on listed, like the Morgan Stanley, for it was originally 820,432 and 11 cents, and now it's 800,758.55. That's almost a difference of $20,000. And the portfolio management, there's a difference of almost 15. And the UMA 4897, there's a difference of almost, well, a little over 7,100.
All right. Can you explain these discrepancies, Ms. Broyles?
Yes, to a degree, Your Honor. So the original amounts that we had listed were from a old spreadsheet, and then we were able from Morgan Stanley, and then we were able to obtain more accurate information from Morgan Stanley with updated statements, and so we updated the spreadsheets accordingly. The first couple spreadsheets, we didn't have all of the information we needed, but since that time, we have received the correct information. And I believe, I have to double check my email, but I believe we provided that information to Ms. Polz's previous attorney way prior to her withdrawal in the case, Your Honor.
All right. Is there consistency in the valuation date on this spreadsheet?
Yes, I believe there, as close as we can get it, Your Honor, there should be.
Okay.
Okay, well, wait a minute.
Oh, hell no!
As we can see in this case, the plaintiff, Mr. Broyles, is seeking to end the spousal support or alimony payments to his ex-wife. This appears to be a high-conflict divorce, where she is doing everything she can to maintain those payments, including presenting gifts as if they were marital assets. Yes, you heard that right. She's trying to count a Celica and a Cadillac, which were personal gifts, as part of the marital property, something that, in many courts, makes no legal sense. It's also clear that this couple has significant resources. Mr. Broyles has over $800,000 in investments with Morgan Stanley, which definitely complicates her claim of need. When one spouse has greater financial resources, the other must demonstrate actual need, not just a financial imbalance, to justify alimony.
The date. Let's see. On this spreadsheet, it was January 28th of 25. When was the last time you received information from Morgan Stanley?
So the figures that we are using for the Morgan Stanley account are from December 2024 reports.
Yeah, this is from January. These differences are from January.
I'm not sure, Your Honor, I'm not sure what she's looking at, so it's hard for me to say what she's looking at versus what it was included in her pretrial questionnaire. And I mean, frankly, at trial, I'm happy to provide all of the supporting documentation that supports the figures that are on our spreadsheet. So I don't want to box myself into a corner by making statements. I don't have the statements. I wasn't prepared to fully discuss those today. So.
All right.
Oh,
So you're requesting this court establish a valuation date, essentially of date of filing, which would relate back to September of 2024. Is that correct, Ms. Broyles?
Yes, Your Honor. I will say, kind of a caveat. One of our the Morgan Stanley figures that we're going off of are from a December 2024 report that we have, and that was as close as I believe as close as we could get it to the date of filing.
All right. Is there any problem with that being the valuation date, Kathy?
no, not at all. But the numbers have changed. I mean, even the one that I received today have changed since January.
Right. I'm not surprised that account values would change even on a monthly basis. Either they're going to go up or down.
Absolutely. But it was ordered by the court for accounts to be frozen at the November 1st court date.
Has there been invasion of these accounts?
There has not, Your Honor. I would assume that any changes are as a result of the market changing. These are investment accounts.
All right. That certainly seems logical.
Okay. So also the money that he took out of the checking account when he was issued the restraining order and gave it to Morgan Stanley, that needs to be put back. I was supposed to be issued $75,000 in difference because of what was sent to Morgan Stanley. It was half of what he had sent to Morgan Stanley as an investment. And I never got that back. As well as he wants me to give him the house. And he's talking about his father's Cadillac or Corvette, which I have no issues in just giving him because it's an heirloom. But I also used my inheritance to put a down payment on that house of $60,000. And we bought that house together. So why would I just give it to him?
And I don't know why you're getting into this today.
Well, exactly. I don't.
This isn't a trial. And I just wanted to determine if we have disputes and what issues are in dispute. Really, these discussions might be better held with Ms. Broyles. If you have a complaint with their proposal, they've at least laid out for you what they're going to be proposing to the court. You haven't done that for them.
The lack of a lawyer is causing this woman to sink on her own. She's trying to argue complex financial figures, assets, and account transactions without legal preparation or a clear strategy. But even so, this isn't the trial, and the judge reminds her of that. This stage is only about identifying the issues in dispute, not resolving them. So her complaints, like the alleged $75,000 loss or the $60,000 she claims to have contributed to the house, don't carry any weight at this point. The only thing that matters is clearly outlining the points of disagreement. And honestly, she should have negotiated a settlement when she had the chance, especially knowing her lawyer stepped down. When an attorney drops a case before trial, it's usually because there's not much left to defend.
I understand.
I don't know the law. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And also,
well, actually, I think you do, because you seem to be able to identify disputes quite readily where your problems are with their proposal. Here would be my suggestion. In fact, it'll be my order. Kathy, if you're going to represent yourself on this thing, then I'm going to establish 14 days from today's date for you to give a formal response to Ms. Broyles on the issues on the pretrial questionnaire.
Okay.
If it could be done in a manner that she could understand, you might even just take a copy of it, write your comments on it. I'm not going to tell you what format to use, but if you've got an issue with what her proposals are, you let her know what those issues are.
Okay. And
14 days to do that, because I think Ms. Broyles needs to know what's in dispute and what isn't.
okay, as well as perjury and
I don't know what you mean by perjury.
on the trial from November 1st.
Okay, there wasn't a trial on November 1st.
Well,
There was a hearing conducted.
he got on the stand and basically just he lied, just outright lied. And it's $4 a page to have it printed out in Butler County, to have the transcript printed. I can't afford that. And he's supposed to pay his alimony on the 1st of every month. Last month he didn't pay it until the 10th. This month I still haven't gotten it. He took everything we had. I don't have a job. I'm disabled. I'm upset. And I think
Are you receiving disability from a government?
no.
Oh, okay.
He stole my identity. Everybody is using my identity.
These are baseless allegations, perjury, identity theft. There's no basis for these allegations. I'm going to object to the line of.
So noted. Again, she's not under oath. It's not testimony. She may have a basis for what she's saying, and she may not. I'm not going to try to sort that out today. Just be careful what you say here, Kathy. I just hope that if you are going to make accusations, you got proof to back it up.
I do.
Okay. That's the kind of thing that we sort out at the trial.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let me make something very clear. I'm not a supporter of alimony. I firmly believe it's abusive to have to keep supporting your ex when you're no longer together, when there's no shared home or mutual responsibilities anymore. That said, what we're seeing here is a woman making multiple accusations without solid evidence. Accusing someone of identity theft and perjury without clear, documented proof can backfire. The judge gave her 14 days to formally respond to her ex-husband's questionnaire, a clear sign that talk alone isn't enough. You need documentation and a well-defined position. Because since the hearing started, she's been listing everything she's claiming, point by point. The $75,000 invested, the $60,000 she says she put into the house, the cars, the alimony. That's not someone who's lost. That's someone who either knows exactly what she's doing or is very well advised legally, even without an active attorney.
At least right now, I don't have a real perception that there's anything that's undisputed. If so, very little. We've got issues regarding property valuation, property division, perhaps spousal support.
Mm-hmm.
Those issues still exist.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is I just wanted it to be fair and equal and reasonable. I mean, he wants to just discontinue paying spousal support when I've been the housewife for over 33 years. So, yeah.
Are you capable of rejoining the workforce?
No, because I pretty much gave up my mobility, having children, raising those children. I used to get ablations on my lower back. They give 8 different sections of my lower back. I can't afford that anymore. And I had to quit jobs because of the pain. I do not take pain medicine. I do not drink. So, yeah, there's not much I can do. I've had surgeries. I've had my left knee replaced 3 times, my right once. I've had a I've had 7 different surgeries.
All right, Ms. Broyles, unfortunately, this court does not have May or June trial dates to offer. In fact, I think that the most viable trial date that I can offer at this point would be Tuesday, July 29. Mandy, would you check that to make sure nothing else got scheduled very recently here? Tuesday, July 29.
That would work for me, Your Honor.
Very well. We'll establish Tuesday, July 29, 9 o'clock a.m. Courtroom B, in person, Butler County Judicial Center in El Dorado, Kansas. I'm going to establish a deadline for providing of an exhibit notebook. Broyles, Kathy, you're going to have to provide to the opposing party your exhibit notebook by 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday, July the 25th. I would ask, I suppose since we're doing it in person, I don't necessarily need it in advance, but I want the opposing party to have their exhibits provided to the other party by the Friday before.
Okay.
Let me explain Kansas law. The woman claims she was a homemaker for over 33 years, which is a strong legal argument to request spousal support under Kansas law. According to KSA 23 to 2902, the court can grant maintenance considering the length of the marriage, each party's ability to be self-sufficient, and the history of non-financial contributions, such as homemaking and child-rearing. She stated she can't return to work for medical reasons. But remember, in the absence of formal medical evidence, like a certified disability, this claim must be backed by documentation for it to hold up in court. Everything presented, the alimony, the division of assets, all of it will have to be resolved at trial. The court won't make decisions without formally submitted evidence. If she fails to present clear proof that everything she's claimed is true, including the accusations, she could lose the case. But let's take a look at the closing.
That'll give you only one business day to scrutinize what's in it. But I think under the circumstances, that's appropriate. Friday, July 25th by 5 o'clock, exchange of any documentary exhibit that you intend to introduce. I would prefer it to be in an organized notebook form.
Okay.
Broyles, I know you're quite familiar how to do that. I trust Kathy will also do the same.
I'll seek some advice.
Okay. So what it comes down to, Kathy, you're going to need probably to make 3 of them. You're going to need one to provide to Ms. Broyles. You're going to need one for yourself. You're going to need one for the court.
Okay.
That is if there are any documents that you intend to introduce.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get the impression that you might.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your decision to represent yourself in this case?
I am going to try and find counsel. I don't know if I can afford any. So, yeah, it'll probably be myself then.
Your Honor, for the record, she's receiving $5,800 of spousal payments a month.
I've also been jumping around from hotel to hotel because I did not want to stay here. And this court case has been drug out for so long that I finally found a place to stay. So as soon as I can save a little bit, then yes, I will most definitely find some counsel.
Okay, it's just that we do need to have an end to this case.
Absolutely.
It's been pending long enough.
Exactly.
And we've established a firm trial date in person on July 29th.
Okay.
And you've got a couple of months here to get your house in order and everything prepared.
Right.
We'll expect both parties to be ready to present evidence to try to work toward finalizing this case on July the 29th.
Absolutely.
Okay. And remember about that 14 days to get your position in writing to Ms. Broyles.
Okay, which means my position. What do you mean?
On the issues that she's laid out in her pretrial questionnaire, her client's position on, I think, all the issues in the case.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Okay. If that isn't okay with you.
No, that's fine. I will.
You need to make sure she knows exactly what parts of it you're disputing. and what your position in return would be.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's only fair because you already know
Oh, yeah.
they need to know your side.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Trial date again, Tuesday, July the 29th, starting at 9:00 a.m., courtroom B, Butler County Judicial Center. All right, Ms. Broyles, anything else that the court needs to address at this time?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. Would you like me to file a pretrial conference order?
Essentially, what would you include in this order since
Just
you
the
don't really
deadline.
have, excuse me?
I apologize for interrupting.
Go ahead.
Just the deadlines and the trial date. So that's.
Please do so, counsel. I think that would be helpful for purposes of stating it in the record.
Okay.
So thank you. I appreciate your efforts in that regard. All right, Kathy, anything further we need to address at this time?
The transcript from the trial on November 1st.
Okay, that was a hearing, not a trial, but you can order that from the court reporter, but you'd have to make the appropriate deposit for their preparation.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Very well then. If there's nothing further then, this matter will currently be in recess, and this meeting may be ended for all.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
From the start, this woman claims she can't afford a lawyer, yet she's receiving $5,800 a month in spousal support. And what does she do with that money? She says she spends it going from hotel to hotel while owning a house. Explain to me how that makes any sense. A woman receiving nearly $6,000 a month, who owns a home, who has vehicles, yet presents herself as a helpless victim with no resources. And even so, she keeps demanding more money. The $75,000 she claims she's owed, a share of the investments, a share of the house, the cars. She wants everything, but says she only wants what's fair. Meanwhile, her ex-husband is just waiting for this case to be over. He's been dragged through a process that's gone on for months with no progress because she's unorganized, hasn't submitted evidence, and still hasn't secured legal representation, despite having the means to do so. Is this justice, or is it abuse of the system? We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Do you think someone receiving nearly $6,000 a month can still argue they need more help from the system? And what's your take on representing yourself in a case like this? Courage or mistake? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.